Hello fellow YouTubers and modelers. Today I have a special treat for you, which is this thing. This is the HMS Sir Gareth, a round table class trawler produced by these guys, Starling Models in UK. They have all sorts of types of beautiful resin model kits, but I have a particular love for these types of trawlers, so I thought I would show you this kit that I purchased some while ago and how absolutely beautiful it is. So let's just jump right in. This is the instructions. These are beautifully 3D rendered parts and instructions, and you can see here very beautifully and detailed. All the parts have been 3D rendered and put together like this in a very coherent and logical way. As you can see, everything is numbered and they line up very well. There are loads of PE parts in this kit, and I was quite concerned about that because my experience with PE is, well, not brilliant, but it came together absolutely beautifully and it was actually a pleasure to work with. These are all the types of colors if you want to present the model as it is in this instruction manual. I just went off a bit because I had a particular idea in mind, which we might circle back to later. But let's inspect the kit a bit further. And I have to be honest, I did open this once before, so hey ho, it doesn't look exactly like this when you arrive. So this is the shape of the hull itself, and as you can see, it's very beautifully detailed. There are a lot of fittings on the decks, there are hinges on different boxes and doors, and look at the wooden details on the deck and all the hatches, and it's absolutely stunning. These resin kits are absolutely beautiful, and the shape of this hull, I just like it for some reason. Then it's over to some of the larger parts on the kit. This is the superstructure and the bridge, and all the, well, these are the main fittings, the main parts of the ship. This is the structure of the entire thing, and as you can see here as well, the print here is very good, and all the details on here, the doors and different things, and yep, snaps very cleanly like that. I think I should have shown a bit more care when disassembling this, but hey ho, you know, thing happens. So moving on to inspecting other parts, these are the boxes that came with the kit, and in here are all the smaller fittings, like you can see here, the lifeboat for instance, and all these pipes and fittings and things that go on the ship. All of these things are very beautiful detail. Like, I can't remember what goes on this, if it's a machine gun or something, but yeah, you have to be extremely careful. You can see here these machine guns, Lewis machine guns and Carly floats and things. You have to be very careful disassembling them because they will break if you're not careful. Also, as I said, there are a lot of PE parts. These come in a separate envelope, and there are quite a lot of them that you have to be careful with. I'm not very experienced with PE at all, but as you can see here, again, very beautifully detailed, lots of parts, and it makes the model look absolutely stunning once you get all of them on. Again, shout out to Starling Models for producing this absolutely beautiful little kit. Also, I've never seen this before, but you had a PE mast. That was kind of cool. Very thin, looks very good on the ship. So, yeah, absolutely recommend it. So, now we're going to skip forward a bit. This is me having assembled, well, all the large parts on the kit and some of the smaller fittings. And as you can see, it very much looks like a, well, World War I, World War II type of trawler. And yeah, again, beautiful. But you have to be very careful with all these small parts. I did sadly break quite a lot of the barrels of the machine guns because I weren't careful enough when handling the model after I had glued them on. So be careful with that, and I'm sure you'll have no problems. So I suppose I should mention, out of fairness to Starling Models, that this is the first time I've ever worked with a resin kit, and I believe that some of the troubles I have with the kit is a result of that, because for instance, I had no idea what type of glue I should use, so I just used liberal amounts, as you can see here, of super glue. that kept together brilliantly and it kept everything in place. But what the primary issue I had with the glue is that it kind of went a bit everywhere. As you can see here, I tried removing it, all the excess, with a Q-tip and paper towels, but it wasn't brilliant and that left some marks. For my next resin kit, I think it will be a lot better because I have worked out a sort of method to how to deal with things. But no complaints to get the kit at all. The kit worked absolutely beautifully. It's just me who is a bit crap with this sort of thing. I am not really experienced with it. However, there was one thing that I thought I should mention, and that was when they first sent me the kit, the hull was a centimetre too short, so none of the structures really actually fit. So I sent them an email and said, I think there might be an issue with the moulding here, and they said, yep, we discovered that as well. We're going to send you a new one, no extra charge, and within a week or two I had the new kit, which I was very pleased about because look at this. It turned out absolutely beautiful. This is an absolutely perfect rendition of a World War One or Two trawler. And as you can see in the middle there, just before the wheelhouse, there's a big hole in the hull. It's supposed to be a deck structure there, but I wanted this to look more like a civilian ship, so I just skipped it and put a paper tarp in there instead, so it doesn't look as military as it were the kit originally does. Anyway, after I was done with that, I went on to painting process, and I used the Tamiya grey primer and sprayed the entire ship down with that, and just continued on painting this rather dark grey. And there is a reason why I went with this dark grey, but I'm not going to tell you that in this video, but you will find out in the next one. But I thought I should tell you a little bit about this ship itself. This is a round table class trawler, which was a batch of 8 ships that was built between 1941 and 1942, largely in Aberdeen, Scotland. These ships and ships like it were used as escorts and minesweepers, for instance, in World War One and World War Two. The Round Table class, as Sir Gareth was built in 1941-1942, as I mentioned. But these ships did all sorts of tasks, also in all sorts of areas and parts of the world, because fishing trawlers are particularly suited for a lot of naval requirements because they're very robust vessels. They're built to operate in heavy weather, and they have large working decks, and they're easy to mount, well, for instance, guns on. I've always loved these sort of ships, along with the Flower Class corvette, because these are sort of the unsung heroes of the Battle of the Atlantic, and they absolutely deserve their place in history. So, as I mentioned, the history of the ship, let's turn our attention back to the model. And this is what I ended up with. It's a dark grey because, well, it's not the exact colour as the manufacturers of this kit recommends to be more historically accurate, but this thing I was very pleased with. It's a bit dark maybe, but it's German grey painted with, and I just went over it with all sorts of washes like this one and just spread it about just to, you know, add a bit of shadow, make the details pop a bit more. So I believe I covered the entire ship with this black wash before I went over with some rust washes on top of that. I did maybe go a bit overboard on rusting this ship. I first used quite a heavy layer of this dark brown one, because these ships, well, although they were properly maintained, they were used in harsh conditions, and maybe would have been worn and torn more than you would on maybe a naval ship, because a lot of these ships were manned by civilian crews with just a contingent of naval personnel manning the guns and things, but usually naval personnel would not man these type of vessels. Many of them would be civilians, which also I think added to the character of these ships and the unsung hero bit, as I mentioned. So after I was done with the heavy rusting, I went over with this light rust, which just highlights a couple of areas and make it look like it's been battered and worn and not properly looked after. It's just been out there patrolling, doing its job, and there's no time for rest for these workhorses. They just have to be out there, and they're not going to get a fresh coat of paint everything they're in dock. So that is pretty much it for this model. A couple of things just to sum it up. The kit is absolutely beautiful. The detailing on it is absolutely superb. I would recommend you buying this kit as a first one for building with resin. I think it went okay. The only thing I should have invested more time in is find out what type of glue I should use. Be a bit more careful with not spilling it everywhere. Also, I think you can see here, be a bit more careful with diluting your paint because the details on this get lost quickly if you apply a too heavy a coat of paint. Also, I added on a bunch of figures on this ship because the next video I will be doing, this ship will be taking part in, and it's going to be a diorama, this time with sailors. So hopefully you're going to enjoy that. So, bit of a foreshadowing here. Maybe some of you can already see where I'm trying to go. Doubt it, but we'll see. So, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting. Hope you liked it. Please go to Starling Models, buy some of their kits. They're absolutely fantastic and lovely people. And yeah, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. See ya.